Thank you very much, and thank you to my colleagues who've done a great job helping illustrate why that 11% increase is so important this year. I did want to give you, Bridget, because I'm a homer from Rochester, an opportunity to talk a little bit about the need for rate add-ons or higher rates when you're dealing with in-person services.
Right, so this is something that we're seeing, honestly, growing rapidly in the New York City area, and then to a slower extent in other regions of the state where providers are choosing to deliver services only via telehealth, and no big surprise there, right? They can see many more, as I said, you get paid per visit, and so if you can do 6 visits a day instead of 3, you're probably going to prefer to do that. The problem is that when we're talking about infants and toddlers, early intervention provides services to children from birth through age 2, and I think we'd be hard pressed to say that there would be a really great reason to provide telehealth service delivery to a 18-month-old. And so we're simply saying, as is true in many other services, just get reimbursed for the additional expenses, like mileage or even time just to do your notes. So there's a whole lot of work. There's now no longer any reimbursement for providers to say there's 3 service providers for 1 child. They no longer get reimbursed for the time they spend talking to each other about the child. They don't get reimbursed for the planning process for what services a child is to receive. So it just goes on and on. I mean, this is why I say the providers are real heroes, because they are not reimbursed for many of the things that they already do.
From our providers, what we're hearing is that they're not reimbursed for anything that is not the direct visit.
That's true.
And if we're going to incentivize our providers to do this work, incentivizing them for the record keeping and the travel that they have to do to provide these services seems pretty essential. I also wanted to ask you a little bit about what happens to our kids who are more profoundly disabled when they exit early intervention services and go into a school setting and the schools can't adequately provide for those services. What are you seeing from your perspective of where those children are receiving their services from?
So you look like you have an answer that you want me to say there, Jen. I don't know what it is, so I'll just, unless you want to go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So it's just that it's not, so of course what happens is when those kids go into preschool special education, then they are that much farther beyond. When they enter the school system, if they haven't gotten either or have inadequate treatment, then they're that much farther beyond. And if the school district can't meet their needs, then they are placed in 4410 schools, which is beyond the purview of this committee because they're governed by the Department of Education.
And we're seeing a decrease when kids are getting their early intervention services between those that enter the 4410s and the 853s than when they don't receive those services.
Right, absolutely.
Thank you very much.